to be getting ready.
Yeah. So, Ooni Day. Hopefully, everyone can hear me okay. I think if we just check the audio levels on that thing on the side, we should be able to, because I'm trying this with the thing now. So there's nobody watching at the minute, so we're all good.
Right. Smile.
Okay, so it's Ooni Day today, so we thought we'd do this live video as a way of celebrating Ooni Day and to show you how we make some pizzas. So we've got our dough ready here, and the sun is a little bit low today, so you'll see if I step back here it might get a bit bright, so apologies for that, but after a few minutes it should go behind one of these houses here, so we'll be okay. If you do see me looking down this way, it's because I've got my laptop set up with the external view. So if you ask any questions or anything like that, I should be able to answer them. Actually, I can see we've got a couple of people watching now. If you could just give me a thumbs up or let me know if you can hear this audio okay, that would be very helpful, just because it's a new microphone system I'm using to do a live. So that would be, yeah, that would be great if you could let me know. And we'll get started here. Got our dough ready. Put our semolina down, nice big pile of that. I like to use semolina rather than flour to help us move the pizzas around. So you'll notice today in the background here we've got the Ooni Karu 16. So that's the oven we'll be cooking on, with it being Ooni Day. Let me just see down here. A little bit quiet. Okay, let me just change something. Okay, so that now should be a bit louder. Okay, so thanks very much for letting me know. Hopefully that's a bit louder. Yeah, sounds good. Just plod in. Yeah, good sound on my phone. Happy days. Right, let's get going. So as I was saying, we've got the Ooni Karu 16 behind us here. That's nicely warmed up. This is one of my favourite ovens to cook on, actually. It's just nice and big, it heats up really fast, nice and easy to cook on. So we'll make some room under there. We've got our dough balls that we made earlier. So pop that in there. Put the top back on. So the dough we're using today is actually this one. It's from Ooni. I don't know if you can see that very well there. It's their dough mix that you use. It's dead easy. You just put it in a bowl, add some water, mix it together and put it in the fridge overnight, and yeah, you've got a pretty good dough. Nice and simple. If you're not that keen on making your own dough, or you're a little bit inexperienced, you're still learning, it's a good option to be able to get a decent quality dough that's nice and easy to use.
Question, how do you find the gas compared to the charcoal for the Karu 16?
So actually, it's kind of one of the age-old questions, do you prefer gas or charcoal? So really, if I was cooking on my own and we weren't doing a live here, I would be cooking on charcoal and wood mixture, just because I like the process of making wood-fired pizza the traditional way. But because we're doing a live, it just makes it easier to be able to use the gas. There's less cleanup as well afterwards, and it's kind of easier to control the temperatures and things. So yeah, for if I'm doing a party or filming something, I'll generally use the gas option. But I do find cooking on wood quite therapeutic, actually. So just putting our tomatoes on here. It's a little bit watery, actually. It's because we're using real San Marzano tomatoes today, which arguably taste the best, but they do come out a little bit watery, so I like to use a little bit less than I normally would.
Glenn has asked, any chance you can drop it off at my caravan when you cooked it?
Yeah, that's the next step, isn't it? Making a pizza delivery service here. I don't know if Glenn, if you're based in the UK, but we're having some lovely weather at the minute. It's yeah, it's a real treat, and it's apparently going to get warmer next week as well, which would be awesome. Apart from the fact I'm at work. So we're going to start off today, just make a basic Neapolitan style margarita, everyone's favourite. Put a little bit of oil on that as well. And I've got my basil here at the side. Now I tend to put my basil on just before I put it in the oven. I know it's not everyone's way of doing it. I feel like it doesn't really make a difference to the taste though. So let's launch our pizza. Just going to put a bit of that semolina on the peel here to help us launch. Move some of that out of the way. Nice quick motion like that. Stretch it out. And you can see there, we've got a nice pizza ready to go on. I'll just check some of these comments. What was the sprinkle ingredient? That's Parmesan. So here I've got some Parmesan in this one. I've got some fresh mozzarella. I use the Galbani in this one. And then some San Marzano tomatoes. So what I usually do when it's on the peel, just give it a little shake, left and right, just to make sure it's going to launch okay. And then we go to the oven. Just before we do, I'm going to use my thermometer to check the stone temperature. So we're about 500 degrees centigrade, which is about 900 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, for me, that's a little bit hot. This oven's been on a while, actually, so I'm just going to turn that down a little bit before we launch this. But yeah, actually, I think we're just going to go for it. It's alive. We'll see what happens. So, nice, swift motion, straight on. And then I'm going to use my turning peel and just look through the oven door here to make sure it's not getting too burned on one side, so we know when to turn it. I do find that even though this is a pre-mixed dough, it's a nice quality and it gives some nice results, which you'll see in a moment.
We've got Fiona asking for some stretching tips.
Oh, well, we could do that on the next one. If you hang around for 5 minutes, we'll stretch the next one and I'll show you what I use, or the method I use. I'm just doing my first turn here. I don't know, would it be better to bring the camera around here, or can we do that on this one? I'm not sure. We could maybe angle it slightly. That's great. You can see we're getting some nice colour on the base as well. Okay, a few more seconds and that'll be done. All right, there we go. First pizza done. Does give a nice crispy crust, this dough. Now, because we're doing a few pizzas today, I'm not going to eat these ones straight away, but if you bear with me for 2 minutes, I'm just going to go inside. Oh, we've got a cooling rack here, we're okay. I'll put that one to one side. I'll just give you another shot of it before we do, so you can see. Let me know what you think. I think it looks good. Sounds nice and crispy on the crust there. Burning my fingers a little bit, always a good sign. So we'll pop that over here. Let that cool down. And I'm just going to give my stone a brush as well, just because we've got some excess flour or semolina on there that we don't want for the next pizza. So move that to one side. Okay,
question.
Right, I'll have a look at some of these questions. We'll do some stretching tips in a minute. So, tips to stop the toppings making a base soggy, especially the mozzarella. Well, yeah, that's a good question actually. So if you're using tomatoes like this, you can see they are quite wet. What I do is less is more. Don't load up the toppings too much unless you're using a thicker sauce that's maybe you've cooked in a pan. You can go a bit heavier on that one, but with the fresh tomatoes, go very light on there. The mozzarella, what I would suggest is you drain this in a strainer like this for at least an hour before you start to use it. That's going to help reduce some of that moisture. And yeah, just not go too heavy on the toppings really, I find is the best way for that. Just bear in mind that if you're using a topping like pepperoni or andouille, it's kind of oily, so you're not going to need as much oil on the top as well. So put some more. So stretching tips then. For this one, I like to put a lot of the semolina. Now, people sometimes use flour or a semolina and flour mix. I'm just using semolina on its own. I use the peel like this to get the dough ball and put it upside down into the semolina. And then once it's got a good coverage on one side, move it over and do the other side. And then pick it up, move the majority of that semolina over to the edge. For our next one, you just need a light kind of coating on there, shake off any excess. There we go, just get rid of that bit. So once we've got our basic dough ball here, it's always advisable to keep it out of the fridge for a couple of hours so it's not cold dough, because cold dough doesn't stretch very well. And then just using the tips of your fingers, start in the middle and push to the edge to create a crust. Just like that. Turn the pizza around. Now, it doesn't matter if your pizza's not perfectly round. I quite like the rustic look of those. So just do it on all the sides. Now, there is a way called the Neapolitan slap, which you kind of put it over your arm and slap it down in 3 turns. Now, that's only the pros that can do that. I've not risked trying that one yet, certainly not on camera anyway. Once you get to this stage, what I do is I pick it up with my hand and just kind of rest it over your knuckles like this. Just turn it round and kind of feel where the spots are, where it needs stretching out more, and let gravity do the work. You can see there now we've got maybe a kind of 10 to 12 inch pizza. Stretch out a little bit more. And it's not perfectly round, but that's okay. So there we have it. Now, we'll, I'm trying to think, what should we do on this one? Maybe some, we've got some salami over there, mushrooms and onions, I think. So again, like we said before, a nice, not too thick coating of the tomato. Just like this. Then I'm going to get some of my other ingredients here. Okay, so we'll do our sprinkling of Parmesan as well first. Some nice big pieces of salami here. Using salami instead of chorizo today. Maybe some mushrooms on there as well.
We've got somebody asking, which model oven is this?
So this one is the Ooni Karu 16. It's a 16-inch pizza oven, which, surprise, surprise, is designed to cook 16-inch pizzas. To be honest, I don't very often cook a 16-inch pizza. I like to cook 12 to 14-inch pizzas in this, because I like the extra room that you get rather than on a 12-inch oven. It feels quite restricted sometimes. So yeah, if you can go for a bigger oven, I would recommend it. It's always good if you plan to cook other things, not just pizza. If you wanted to do like roast chicken or something in there, or some steaks, you've got a bit more room to be able to do that. Probably not going to put oil on this one, just because it'll be quite a bit of oil from that salami on there. So we'll just pop some of our basil on, give it a bit of that lovely green colour that we need. And let's get this pizza on. Then what I'll do, guys, is I'll look through some of these questions that you've left and try and answer some of them before we do our next one. Oops, lost a bit of mozzarella there. Okay, get rid of any excess semolina, give it a shake. Arrange your toppings again, and we'll get this one back on our oven. Would recommend you get yourself one of these turning peels too. They're very handy, and it means that you don't have to take the pizza fully out of the oven to be able to turn it round, which stops any kind of semolina that you've left on the stone getting too hot and setting on fire. Unfortunately, no, I do not deliver to Canada. It's a bit too much of a long flight for me to get a pizza hot. I'd end up having to give it for free because it wouldn't arrive in a good condition. But some of the tips that you're seeing here today you can use. Whereabouts in Canada are you from? It's not a country I've managed to visit yet. I've always wanted to visit there. Okay, so that's cooking nicely. You can see this dough that we're using, the Ooni pre-mixed dough, for any new joiners, is a very nice dough. If you're not confident in making your own dough, it's a good substitute. Gives you the ability to make fresh pizzas without the hassle of weighing out all your ingredients. Okay, final few seconds. Not even going to bother closing the door. We'll check the base. Looks good. And we've got pizza number 2 here. Look at that, delicious. So you can see how quickly you can start to cook pizzas on these ovens once you've got everything prepared and set up like we do here. It's quite a quick process. And again, we've got that lovely crispy crust on there. A nice bake, nice bit of colour around the edges. Lovely. So I'll put that to one side. So, just have a look at some of these comments. So, launching suggestions, yes, we'll cover that in the next pizza that we do. Basically, it's just about really having the confidence and using enough of this semolina that we've got here. Super good question. I know you've used both types of ovens, with and without a door, which is better. I tend to like ovens with the door, especially these Karus that have the glass door. Just gives that handy advantage of being able to see the pizza while you're cooking. The old Karu had a solid door, so you had to remove it to be able to check where you were, which wasn't the best. So yeah, definitely recommend the glass door. Thank you to my wife behind the camera for bringing me the peel here. So we can cut into this one. We're going to do some launching tips on the next one.
We've got somebody said I could not deal with the stress of launching a pizza live.
I know, well, we did it first last week and I was thinking the same thing. I was like, can I do this? But to be honest, it's all right. So there we see.
It would turn out as a calzone.
We've all been there. That's all I'd say with that one. Is there's many times we've been filming out here and done that. So you can see we've got a nice bake on the bottom there of this pizza. Very tasty. Now, apologies if you're not into those eating videos. I don't want that to turn into one of these videos where I'm just sat eating a full pizza to myself, but thought I'd try it while we're live here. I'll just pop it to the side. Door seems you'll save money on propane gas. Yeah, again, that's the other advantage of a door, is obviously it keeps all the heat in there. If this was open, you'd lose quite a lot of heat out the top, especially because it's quite a tall oven, and obviously the heat rises and it gathers here in the top. So as soon as you open the door, you can lose a bit of the heat there. So the door's a big advantage on that one. Right. Should it be hard to stretch New York pizza dough? Yeah, generally with a New York pizza dough, you would leave it in the oven longer, usually like 5 to 8 minutes at around 200 degrees, so a lower temperature. So with that, your dough will be a lower hydration, probably between 60 and 65%, which is going to mean it's like a thicker dough, harder to stretch. Again, it all comes down to experience. If you're worried about that, the New York pizza is not that reliant on having a big puffy crust, so use a rolling pin or one of the dough dockers as well. If you've seen those, it's like a spiky roller, just helps stretch out the dough. But again, it comes down like with anything, it's just practice. You know, the more you do it, the more confident you'll get. And yeah. Okay, so let's do another one and we'll look at some launching tips on this one. So I've got a bit of flour in my semolina here, so just make sure we remove any bits of excess flour. Pop our dough ball on top. Cover back up again, and as we said before, turn it over, make sure it's nicely covered. When it comes to launching as well, it's always going to help to have excess of this semolina or flour to make sure that your dough is nice and loose on the board, and it's going to prevent it from sticking. So let me know in the comments what's your preference when it comes to this kind of material. Do you prefer to use flour to launch your pizzas with? Do you prefer to use semolina? I've even seen people using corn flour before, but I've not had a good experience with that because I found it was too coarse. So again, just let gravity do the work, stretch it out. You see we've got a nice sized pizza there.
We've got a comment, are you still an Ooni faithful, or what do you think about Gosney ovens now that you've tried them?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it comes down, like both of the brands, Gosney and Ooni, are good brands. They make decent pizza ovens. They're good quality products. And really, it comes down to the individual. Like, think about what you want in a pizza oven and the style that you like. I've always thought the Oonis look a bit more modern. The Gosneys are more classic. But both of them are capable of cooking excellent pizza. You can't really say one is better than the other because they're quite different. So I think it really comes down to a personal preference. But if you want to check out my channel, I've got a couple of videos on some things to consider if you were thinking about choosing an Ooni or a Gosney. The majority of my ovens are Ooni ones though. It's just the brand that I've had the most dealings with, and the ones I'm most used to using as well.
It was the first one.
It was the first ever one I chose as well, the Karu 12, back in lockdown. So another tip when it comes to launching is work quite quickly. So already I've had this on the board for a while. So I want to work quite quickly now with my toppings. If you wouldn't mind getting me some andouja out, that would be quite nice for the next one, I think. So I'm going to go in with some onions on here. This is one of my favourite pizzas actually. I go with red onion, mushrooms, andouja and chicken. So I'm going to contradict myself now, and we're not going to be able to do this one as fast as I wanted because we forgot to open the packet of andouja. So my wife's just run inside now to get a knife to open that. But no worries, we should be okay. A bit of Parmesan on there as well. I always think it looks nice. I don't know how much it adds to the flavour, but a nice healthy dose of Parmesan always looks good on the video. So thank you very much. Look at that. Here's one I prepared earlier. So yeah, if you've not tried, and I don't know whether it's pronounced Nduja or Nduja, but if you've not tried it on a pizza, I highly recommend. It's like, tastes a bit like chorizo, but it's more spicy, and it comes in these kind of packets. You can also get it in a jar, and I think there is also a vegan version of it as well, which is nice. And then I'm going to put a bit of chicken on this as well, I think. It's quite oily though, the Nduja, so handy to have some kitchen roll on hand as well. Okay, so we've just got some chicken here as well that we cooked earlier. I feel like it complements each other quite well, the chicken and the Nduja. And then a bit of the cheese as well. Almost forgot the cheese then, actually. So eager to launch. Don't know if there's any background noise you can hear on the video. I think the kids are playing next door because, as I mentioned, in the UK we're having some really nice weather at the minute. And even though it's now nearly 8 o'clock, or 20 to 8, it's still lovely and warm outside. Hence why we're still out here cooking pizzas. So it's a great day for it to be Ooni Day. So you could let me know in the comments if you've done anything for Ooni Day today. If you've been cooking pizza yourself, what type of pizzas do you do? What do you cook on?
Got somebody saying, Tired Phil, love your videos, man. Greetings from the US.
Thanks, Tired Phil. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us.
And who do you find is best for logs? Got an Ooni Karu 12, both in terms of quality and price.
I would say I use either birch logs or there's a company called Love Logs that are quite good as well if you're based in the UK. But I always go with kiln dried wood, usually oak or birch as well. So let's go back to these launching tips then. So we've got our pizza. It's probably left on the table for a bit longer than I normally would like to. Get your peel. Make sure you're parallel with the pizza. Get a little bit of your semolina and just sprinkle it on the front. Put your fingers and just nip the dough, and then one straight motion straight under the pizza. Like that. You see we lost a little bit of cheese there, but it's okay. And then just stretch it out a little bit. And then what I usually do is just give it a little wobble on the peel, a little jiggle like this, just to make sure it's going to slide off into the oven okay. And yeah, confidence is key really with that one. So we'll get this on the oven and cook our third pizza. Another thing I like about the Karu, the Ooni Karu 16, is it's got this thermometer on. Now this is an oven temperature, not a stone temperature, but it still gives you a good guide of whereabouts you are in terms of temperature. So just at a quick glance, if you're in the house or making your pizza, you can turn around and check that out quickly. Okay, so we're a few seconds in. Open that door. The pizza should have released from the stone there. Now this is quite a heavy pizza because I've done quite a lot of toppings on there, and you can feel it as I'm moving it round. So nice and gentle. And turn that round. Close the door and just let that base crisp up to make sure that we're not going to lose any of those toppings. But yeah, one of the biggest things that helped me in pizza making was learning to confidently use one of these turning peels. I think having that as in your skill set when pizza making really helps, and it prevents you having to take the pizza out the oven to turn it round, which again prevents the risk of anything going wrong while it's out the oven. Okay, maybe give it one last turn just to finish off the other side. Check the underneath as well. Yeah, still got some heat in that stone. Okay, there we go. Nice Nduja pizza, nice and crispy again on the crust. I do highly recommend this dough actually. It's a beautiful dough, considering it's a pre-made packet. Yeah, we'll just pop our camera back on the tripod. So one of the things I like about the Nduja here is, just pop this on there, is it goes crispy on the top when it's been in the oven. That intense heat makes it go like kind of crispy, and the oil all leaks out and makes the pizza taste lovely. It is quite spicy, so you do need to have a palate for spicy food if you're going to try it. But yeah, check it out. It's one of my favorite pizzas right there. So if you have just joined us, the dough that we're using today is this one. It's a Neapolitan style dough mix from Ooni. Super simple. In here you've just got a packet of pre-mixed dough. You empty it into a bowl, mix it up, add some water. Well, add some water first and then mix it up. And then, yeah, put it in the fridge overnight and you've got these kind of dough balls here. Very good. So let's have a look at some questions. Only been using the all-purpose flour, 00 hours, expensive in Canada. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what shops are in Canada. I tend to use a company called Macro. They're like a wholesaler, similar to Costco. Actually, I'm sure you've got those in Canada. It's quite a good option, but it doesn't have to be 00. The 00 flour is just a finer flour that helps for traditional style pizzas like this one. You know, you can always use the strong bread flour. Anything with a protein of around 14 grams is good for your pizzas. But again, it's somewhere to start out. What hydration and dough ball size? So it's difficult to say because this was a pre-mixed dough. The hydration, it feels somewhere between 65 and 70% based on how soft it is. I mean, if I give you the grammage here, it's 675 grams, the pizza mix, and you add in 440 grams of water. So based on those grams, you'll be able to work out what the hydration is. I'm no mathematician and I can't do it off the top of my head now, not without a calculator anyway. So if you do find out, let everybody know in the comments. That'd be helpful. Great video showing the size. Yeah, thanks very much. It is quite a big difference. As I was saying before, I always go with the 16-inch ovens. I just like the size of them. And people always ask me if I had to keep just one of my pizza ovens, which one would it be? And the answer is this one. This is my favorite oven. I use it most out of all of them, really. I just love the size. I love the fact that you can cook on wood, or you can cook on gas, or you can cook on charcoal as well. And I think it looks great as well. It's a nice size. It's portable enough to put in a car if you did want to take it somewhere. But also it's big enough to be able to cope for if we were having a party of like 10, 15 people round. We've done that before on this oven and it copes with it absolutely perfectly. That's not a real pit bull. Don't really understand. Okay. Does the pizza peel turner have ridges to grip the bottom of the pizza? No, not really. So if I just show you a close-up of it here, you can see that the top of it's a little bit dirty now because I've been using it. It's smooth. There's a sharp edge on this edge, and then the underside is just thin as well. There's a few holes in it to help, I guess, stop any flour or anything sticking to it. But there's no ridges to grip the pizza. It's purely based on the movement of this under the pizza to turn it round. Where does the dough come from that we mentioned? So this dough that we're using today is from Ooni. You can use it, you can buy it online. If you go visit ooni.com, you can find it on there.
Karu 16 versus a Karu 16 if only using gas.
If I was only using gas, I'd probably go with the Coda 16, just because it heats up faster. That L-shaped gas burner, I quite like that. Having said that though, I do feel like the Karu 16 is more versatile, so there's more things that you can cook on that over time, just because it's a bit taller in the oven. So I don't know, it's a good question actually. I think I've got a video on that somewhere, so you'd maybe be able to check out the channel and scroll through the videos, and you'd be able to find the Karu 16 versus the Coda 16. I think I make some good comparisons on that video. Okay, I'm going to move this to one side. Can I give that to you?
Question.
Okay.
You show a 16-inch oven, but it has no chimney, but that one does. What's the difference between that oven you have and the 16-inch with no chimney?
Yeah, the one with no chimney is the gas-only oven. The reason this one's got a chimney is because it's got a door, so it needs somewhere for that carbon monoxide that's built up from the orange flame to escape, basically. So usually the ovens without a chimney don't have a door, and the ones that do have a door will need a chimney on there, because otherwise you can get a buildup of carbon monoxide. And I don't know, I mean, obviously it's just not good for you to have that as a build-up. So yeah, you need some sort of ventilation. I've tried using this without the chimney before, with the door closed and the cap in the hole, and the flame didn't stay lit. It just kept going out. So yeah, I think you do need that airflow to be able to make that, to make it work properly.
I've got one last question. Do you prefer more traditional toppings, or do you like getting creative with toppings, like white pizzas, dessert pizzas?
Do you know what? It's one thing that as I do this pizza channel more and more, I'd like to experiment more with the more kind of just the more interesting toppings. I did a vodka sauce pizza once that was really nice, and I'd like to revisit that, because I think sometimes, especially when we're doing reviews, we do the same kind of pizzas, just the Neapolitan. But no, in answer to your question, I do like to experiment. I like the interesting ones. I had a friend come over a few weeks ago, and he brought the ingredients to do like a Mexican chicken pizza. I think there's a picture of it on the Instagram. If you want to follow my Instagram, by the way, it's Tom Voyage UK. You can find me on there. So you can check over there, and TikTok as well. We've got same handle, Tom Voyage UK. You can find me on. But yeah, we've got pictures of that pizza, the Mexican one that we did on there, and it was very good. Okay, we're going to wrap up here, guys, in a couple of minutes. I'll just have a look through these. If there's anything else that we want to, if you want to ask, let me know now.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. I think we're done. So it's time now for us to go and enjoy our pizzas that we've cooked. So I wish you all a very happy Ooni Day. I hope you're out there yourselves, whether you were in the UK or America or Australia, wherever you are in the world, Canada as well. Yeah, thanks for joining us, and wish you a great evening. See you soon. Thanks very much.